Welcome to the Art of Plenty. I am so glad you are here today because I can't wait to share this opportunity that's coming your way. So make sure you stay tuned until the end. Here's what we're talking about. How do you hold on to those things that you know you need to change, want to change, feel convicted that you haven't yet changed, have shame about that you haven't changed? How do you do those things that up until now you haven't been able to do? Now, before we dive into that, can I just say you're not alone? In fact, the entire reason that I am doing this podcast today is because I am in the same boat. I am a person who loses momentum for the things that I feel like I want to keep doing. I lose momentum for the things that I know I need to do. And that's exactly where I am today. I had surgery in the middle of summer last year. And up until that point, I felt like I was in a pretty decent rhythm for the goals that I was creating for myself. Now, when I'm talking about these goals, I'm not talking about necessarily familial goals or work goals. I'm talking about personal goals. So things that I'm doing for myself. So things related to my fitness, things related to my health. And I was in a really good rhythm. And then I had surgery and I couldn't really do as much as I had been doing before. And that rolled, because it was at the beginning of summer, that just rolled and snowballed right into summer holidays, which is a time that I find very difficult to maintain any type of workout regime. And I'm not really sure why, because there's so much opportunity to be outside and actually be doing something active. But for whatever reason, I really have a hard time keeping momentum over summer. Maybe it's because all my kids are home from school and our life has a completely different type of routine than it does during the year. Maybe that's it. Or maybe it's that residual feeling left over from when I was a kid where I just think summer should be off, and somehow working out and maintaining a workout regime is work to me still. I'm not sure. But there I was in the thick of summer, not getting a good routine and not being able to maintain a routine. And since then, I've had a couple little blurps where I've gotten into the gym, where I've done some of the things that really matter to me for my physical health, but I haven't been able to stick with anything for longer than a couple weeks because I started to go momentum about the third week in September, which is a really typical time for me. I can't ever really dive into stuff that first couple weeks of September. If you're a mom, you can probably relate. There's so many changes to the kids' schedule with going back to school, and then also activity schedules starting up again in September. I don't really have a rhythm for our family, usually until about the third or fourth week of September. So that's when I was able to kind of get back into some type of workout regime. But then it kind of all hit the fan because we went away on a holiday in October. I was traveling for work. And then early surgery, I had another medical appointment that I had to do that definitely set me back. So here I am, staring the new year in the face and feeling like I've totally let myself down. And I hate that. I hate that I haven't prioritized the things that I want to prioritize for myself. And it's funny because those things, they're for me, but they make everything better. They make me better at my work. They make me better as a mom. I'm more patient. I'm more understanding. I'm happier when I'm working out and doing things. And I'm feeling really annoyed. Like, don't I know better? Don't I know better? Because I do know better. I've read so many habit building books. I understand the psychology of starting new things and maintaining things, but I'm definitely stuck in a rut and I'm working at getting over being annoyed at myself that I'm in this rut. Here are a couple of clues that I have been picking up on in my own body that are indicating to me that I'm not doing what I need to be doing for my health. So the first clue for me happened last week and I woke up and my hands hurt. I don't know why, but when I work out on a regular basis, I don't get the same pain in my finger joints. I started having that pain when I was going through menopause, which I went through chemical menopause about 4 years ago. And one of the side effects, because I went into menopause so quickly because it was chemical, my hands and my joints totally changed. And then what I found is when I was drinking lots of water, again, not something I've been doing very well lately. And when I was working out, the pain kind of subsided. And so I noticed last week, oh, great, the joint pain is back. But I'm flipping that because I'm like, oh, I know how to fix this. I know how to make a difference. The other thing that's been happening to me a little bit this fall, which has been weird, is I will wake up feeling anxious without having any reason to feel anxious. Like I'll wake up in the middle of the night or early in the morning before I've even had time to process what I need to do that day or what's coming down the pipe. It's just this almost intense feeling of anxiety. It's not panic, but I have this like wave, and it takes me a minute to kind of figure out that, oh, I'm anxious, and why in the world am I anxious? And I've noticed when in the past, when I've had that experience, once I start working out on a regular basis, that typically just completely dissipates. So I know that it's a physiological thing that I'm reacting to. So those have been the clues lately. Oh, and the other clue, my clothes aren't necessarily fitting the way that they normally fit or the way that I like them to fit. So those things have been bringing this up to me that, hey, Amy, you need to get back into a routine. And this time, I really don't want to start a routine that I don't maintain for the rest of my life. Is that ambitious? I don't know. The rest of my life, I hope, is a very long time. I was talking to a friend the other day, and her goal is to make it till she's 80. I was like, okay, well, I'm in my mid-40s. So not that I'm taking on her goal of making it to when I'm 80, but I'm in the middle of my life, as far as I know, or approaching the middle of my life. And at 44, I don't want a flash in the pan fitness regime that I just do for a couple months or that's related to a goal or a challenge that I'm doing. I want something that I can sustain over my life, whether or not I make adaptations, because I will, because I am one of those people that loves change. I love to do different things. I am also a creature of habit. I've pretty much ate the same breakfast almost every day for the last 3 or 4 years. And I typically really like not having to think about things like that. So I kind of go back and forth between I can be a really easily fall into a routine, or I can get really distracted and I want to stay focused. And challenges and being able to be creative about my workout regime is one of the ways that I can stay focused on it. So that's what I'm trying to do here. I'm trying to create space so that I can stay committed to the things that I want to stay committed to. Do you want to know my list? Do you want to know the things that I want to change this year? Sometimes I wonder and I question myself. I think, is this realistic? Is this something that is actually doable? Or is the reason that I'm not having success in sticking with these things is because I've got too many things that I'm trying to implement? And I go back and forth about that. And I know about habit stacking, and I know about breaking things down and finding your point of no return. So I know enough about that. I think the reason why I think that this is doable to do all of these things at once and implement all of these is because there's been seasons in my life where I've consistently done all of these things and I feel great. And here's the deal with that. When you do more, you actually can do more. I'm going to repeat that because I think it's really worth digesting and chewing on. When you do more, you can do more. So what that means is when you start doing stuff, you have more capacity to do more stuff. And this is especially true whenever you add workout stuff, provided you can get through the first 2 weeks. But once you start working out, once you start having a regular exercise regime, what ends up happening is that you've created more capacity in your life for other things, because all of a sudden you have more energy, you have better sleep habits, because I find if you exert your body in a physical way, you sleep better. And no, maybe it doesn't change the first day or the second day, but it takes a couple weeks. And then all of a sudden you just have more capacity because you've been doing more. And this is true in work as well. You will get the work done within the work time. And we just have a way of filling our work with the time and the space that we have. Okay, so here is my list. DM me if you think this is too ambitious. I want to be going to the gym, and I want to be lifting weights and doing Pilates. Now, and some cardio. Now, here's why the weight piece matters. When you're a woman, and I mean, don't take my word for it, do your own research. But when you're a woman who is in perimenopause, who is in chemical menopause, who is in menopause, it really matters to build bone health. And the way that you can increase your bone health is by lifting heavy. I'm not talking about those 2 and 3 pound weights that you get at the spin studio. I'm talking about lifting heavy. And yeah, you may not be there today, but you can build up your strength, because that will make a huge difference in the strength of your bones. The other thing women who are older should be doing is some type of explosive movement. And I can't remember the reason for that, but it makes a difference for our age, for our body over time, and for longevity. It's not enough for women to just do cardio as we age. It's really important that we lift weights. And it's not just about the health piece. For me, I also want to be able to have strength as I get older. And one of the ways that we maintain and increase our strength as we get older is by actually using and developing our strength when we're younger. Okay, so that's on my list. Going to the gym, doing weights, doing cardio, because of course we need heart health. And cardio is heart health. And there's something really wonderful about running or biking or rowing or swimming that I find for my brain, because it's the same activity. I find that my brain can wander. So that's another reason why I like cardio. I love doing Pilates because I think that it counters lifting weights. So especially when you're lifting heavy, everything is compressing. And Pilates is one of those activities that actually like stresses or stretches your body, and reverses all of that pushing down. The whole experience of living on the earth and living with gravity, with everything compressing our spines, Pilates does the opposite, to stretch and elongate our spine. When I do Pilates twice a week, I feel the best that I feel. I find it changes all of my movements and cardio, as well as lifting, as well as even just walking around and being on the earth. So those are kind of my physical pieces. I also want to be walking or skiing. And when I say skiing, I'm talking about cross country, because I love being outside, and all of those other activities I've talked about are all indoor ones. I also, because I've had 5 kids, 4 of which were vaginal births, I need to do pelvic floor exercises. And these ones are things that I have done in spits and spats over the last 8 years. And again, being a woman who's aging, being a woman who's had babies, pelvic floor stuff matters. I also, are you ready? Are you still engaged in this long list? When I hear it, I'm like, oh my gosh, Amy, are you biting off more than you can chew? I have no idea. On days that I don't do Pilates, I want to be stretching, and I like the idea of doing a face yoga routine, although that's been something that's been on my list that I can't do consistently for more than a week or 10 days. And then in addition to that, I have some food related goals, like drinking more water, making sure that I'm taking supplements that I need. I've got like a fiber, vitamin D, probiotic, and omega vitamin routine that I like doing, and have done different combinations of those over the years. I feel amazing when I take a probiotic on a regular basis. And vitamin D is one of those saving things that prevents me from getting colds in the winter. The other thing I notice about vitamin D is when I do get a cold, it's short-lived. So I don't know, can't say enough about vitamin D, especially living up in the north in Canada. We do not get enough sun. I've added fiber in the last 8 weeks. Just, again, women typically don't get enough fiber. This is stuff that I've heard from multiple different health professionals. And so I have that in my routine. And then, or not in my, yeah, actually it is in my day routine, not in my morning routine. And then the other thing that I'm doing, which I've been doing for years and isn't a problem, and isn't something I have to add because I'm already doing it, is my hot water and my morning pages. So there you have it. There is my list. And in my head, I'm thinking, is this even possible? Is this even something that I can do? Because I'm not interested in having a New Year's resolution that just gets thrown out come February or that loses momentum. I want to commit to these for long enough that it becomes like my hot water routine in the morning, where it's not something that I think about doing. It's something that I automatically do. Now, here's the deal. I know that one of the biggest things that can make a difference for starting new routines is accountability. I don't know what it is about accountability, but it shifts things for us. It's in our nature to be better at our routines and to honor our commitments when somebody is there keeping us accountable. And I know this for myself, for my gym routines, when I've worked with a trainer or when I've had plans to meet a friend at the gym, I always make it. I never not make it. The fact that there is someone else there that is depending on me showing up is enough for me to maintain that regime. But I'm at the stage right now where that's really difficult, especially with the way that I want to implement working out into my life. It's too difficult and it's expensive to have a trainer. So I need something different than having someone to show up and do things with me. But I do want to have accountability and I do know it makes the difference. So that is where this idea came from. It's totally began as self-serving that I need to make change. So, hey, what about if I form an accountability group that other women who are experiencing life the way I am can get together and we can help hold each other accountable so that we can start living that life that we know we want to live, that we can start making those changes, making those tweaks that'll help us to show up better for our partners and for our kids and for our parents and for our work and for ourselves. I actually started or tried to start accountability group maybe like a year and a half ago. And I messaged all these high achieving women who I admire and love and in my personal life. And I was like, hey, we should do this thing where we get together once a month and we help keep each other on track to do the things that we know we're meant to do. And what I realized is I think we met once or twice. And what I realized was I was going to have to do all the work to get people there. I had to do all the coordinating of when people would arrive and what time. And it sucked the desire to do it like right out of my soul. I did not want to do it anymore because I wanted to have that group so that we could collectively share in the process of being accountable. And when I did that, I was like, oh, this is all on me. And I just didn't have the gumption. I didn't have the drive. I didn't have the energy to create this group amongst my close friends. So it totally flopped. So when I was thinking this past week about there's things that I want to change, there's things that I want to get after, and recognizing that accountability is huge and that I also have a ton of resources and a ton of knowledge around doing this, even though I'm like, what is that old proverb about how It's like the shoemaker's kids who never have shoes. You know that idea? The person who has all the strategies for building and creating habits is struggling to create habits. Well, that's me. I've got a wealth of knowledge. I've got a wealth of experience, but I'm still not doing it. And I thought, why don't I create an accountability group? And I open it up to my listeners, to women like me who want to make a change. And together we can support each other to start shifting. Because I know that when we come together and support one another, incredible things can happen. We feel encouraged. So here is the deal. I'm going to do a 5-week accountability group. Now, why did I choose 5? 5 is one of my numbers. Y'all know I have 5 kids, but 5 is a number of grace. And I feel like whenever we're doing new things, whenever we're pushing ourselves to do new things, we need a lot of grace to stick with it, to stay committed to it. So that's why I'm choosing 5, not because it has anything to do with how long it starts to take a new habit. Not even considering that. I just thought, you know what? We're going to do it for 5 weeks because I love grace and I need more grace in my life. So it's 5 weeks and it's going to cost you $10. Now, that is such a nominal fee. I can hear, why are you charging $10? Here's why. There are psychological principles about when you spend your money, you show up. Now, there's a couple different ones that are at play. So I wrote it down because I didn't want to forget it. It's called sunk cost effect. And I had never heard that word before, but I've known for a long time that when people have to pay for something, it changes the way they approach it. The idea is something happens psychologically when you pay for something. You are more likely to show up, even if it's a nominal fee. So I did not want this to be cost prohibitive for anyone. That's why it's $10. It's not enough money that it ideally shouldn't prevent anyone from joining it who feels they need to, but it's money because if you're going to go through the process of signing up and paying for something, you're more likely to show up. And that's the whole point of this. In order to get the accountability piece, you actually have to show up. Now, sunk cost effect, that's what happens when people put money into things and they want to get their money's worth. So they're more likely to do the work because they paid for it. This doesn't quite have the same bearing when it's only $10, but it does make a difference to pay for something. This accountability group is for you if you have anything that you feel guilty about something that you know you need to do, something that you want to do, but you haven't actually done it. It's for you if you have shame around this part of your life that there's something you want to do. It does not have to be a physical goal like mine is to increase my commitment to my fitness regime. It doesn't have to be that kind of a thing that you're trying to do. It could be something like maybe you're working on a vlog or a blog, or you're writing a book, or you are trying to commit to a hobby that you've always loved, like painting, and you haven't had the time or the ability to commit to something that's really important to you. It can be anything like that. And the goal of the group is to help increase your accountability so that you can get after the things that you need to get after. Because the world needs you. Your family needs you. Your partner needs you. Your friends need you. Your parents, your kids, everyone in your life, your coworkers, they need you. They need you to be able to show up and be who you're meant to be, because you're the only one who's you. And you have a unique set of skills and strengths and giftings that can really make a difference. Not just in your life, but in the people's lives around you. And that can have a significant impact on our world. So we need you to be who you're meant to be. And if you have something like I do, which is my physical regime, that's holding me back from being who I need to be in this season of my life, then this group is for you. Here's how you get into the group. You need to DM me or go to the show notes and I will send you the link for the group. Probably, I don't even know, probably a link that you can pay and sign up, and then you'll get an email about the group. We're going to run it for 5 weeks. What is the commitment for you? There's going to be some type of live call every week. I haven't decided on the time, but it's probably going to be on a Thursday. And if you can't make it, that's okay. We can get you the notes from that or something so that you don't have to miss out on it. So you're committing to the once a week call, and then there's going to be other motivations that keep you going. But essentially, it's an opportunity to chat with others or to chat with me to help you stay focused and go after those things that you're meant to go after so you can live the life that you meant to live. Because that's what the Art of Plenty is all about. It's all about creating a space for people to really be who they're meant to be. I'm glad you found me today. I'm glad you tuned in. And I hope to see you in the accountability group that's starting in a week. So go to my DM, send me a DM. Is that how you say it? I don't know. Check the show notes. I can't wait to see you there. I'm Amy McInnes, and this is the Art of Plenty.